You think your bank balance is a reflection of your hard work, but it is actually just a mirror of your 7-year-old self. Most of your financial decisions aren't being made by the adult sitting in front of a laptop. They are being made by the child who watched how their parents handled a utility bill 20 years ago. You believe you are choosing your lifestyle, but you are likely just reenacting a script you didn't even write. Think about the last time you spent money on something for yourself. Did you feel a sudden surge of guilt, like you were doing something wrong? Or maybe you're the person who feels a frantic need to spend every dollar the moment it hits your account, as if keeping it is a burden. Perhaps you check your bank account 5 times a day, not because the numbers change, but because you need to prove to yourself that you are still safe. These aren't just habits, they are survival mechanisms. Psychologists call these money scripts. They are the unconscious beliefs we develop before we even learn how to multiply. If you grew up in a house where money was a source of constant screaming, your brain wired itself to associate wealth with conflict. Today, you might unconsciously sabotage your career or your savings just to keep the peace in your nervous system. If you saw your parents use money to control people, you might now hoard every penny as a shield, terrified that being broke means being powerless. It is never about the math, it is about the safety. Your brain does not care about your credit score. It cares about your survival. If your childhood environment taught you that resources were scarce and temporary, your adult brain will stay in emergency mode even when you are doing perfectly fine. The deepest truth is that we often recreate the financial chaos of our childhood because, to our subconscious, chaos feels like home. Predictable poverty feels safer than unpredictable wealth. You aren't bad with money. You are simply being loyal to your history. You are repeating a pattern because you haven't yet realized that the rules of your childhood home no longer apply to your current life. The shift begins when you stop looking at the spreadsheet and start looking at the memory. Ask yourself, whose voice do I hear when I feel this financial anxiety? When you separate the trauma from the currency, money stops being a monster and starts being a tool. You can choose to be the person who finally breaks the cycle. Most people will go through their entire lives being controlled by shadows they cannot see, repeating the same mistakes until they call it fate. But you have just taken the first step towards seeing the invisible. This is only the beginning of our deep dive into the hidden forces that drive your behavior. Join our inner circle of those who refuse to live on autopilot by subscribing now. Do not let the next revelation pass you by while you are still operating on old, broken software. Share this video with someone who is struggling to keep their head above water. Help them understand that it is not their fault. It is time to stop living in the dark and start building a future that belongs to you, not your past.